Hello folks, so Monday morning, happy Monday, and today I am going to ask you to submit just one question to me, which will come in to effect quite soon. You'll see what it is, and we're looking at worded simultaneous equations. Although this question that I'm giving to you, when I did it, I didn't do it through a simultaneous equation. I made an equation and involved some brackets. So see if we get the same way. Now, I did give you a little starter last time, so I've not looked at it. So let's hope this goes better than when I did the easy one. This is the harder one. Alright, so this one's going to be harder. But 66, that makes me immediately think 11 times 6. Can't see how else you'd get there. So that would be 9 plus 2. Is 11 times 6 is 66. 64, we're adding something to 9. Oh, 16 times 4. So 9 plus 7 times 4. I'm pretty sure that's going to... This is turning out to be a lot easier than the other one, isn't it? Anyway, so what do we go with now? Multiplying two numbers to make 32. If I'm taking something away, 4 times 8 is going to be just about the only thing I... But so if I took 3 away to give me 4, 4 times 8 is that. 2 plus 3 is 5, divided by... We've still got 1 left, so 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, take... There's only a 5 left, gets us to 0. 6 8's 48, take 5 is 43. Well, that one worked out a lot easier. Anyway, that may just be the way. In case you're wondering, didn't want to put you off by being distracted, but if you like a little word problem and want to get your minds going, you can always have a go at the word wheel. There'll be one letter, you've got to use the E, there'll be one word that involves all of them. See if you can find that 9-letter word. If you want to, don't waste your time now because we're doing maths right now. Now, today's questions come to us courtesy of at Rag Maths. That's where I found these questions, and you can download all these questions from here, and the answers, just literally the answers, not work solutions, are at the bottom. So some teacher called R. Gordon, thank you to them. We're going to look at a few now. Simultaneous equations are one of the most powerful applications of algebra that we have, with which we can solve all sorts of problems. Sometimes it doesn't need to be a simultaneous equation to solve it. Sometimes it does. It's a really, really powerful format, and it's just about writing down what you see in algebra and then sort it out. Descartes, the man who said, I think therefore I am, that famous French philosopher and mathematician in the time of the Enlightenment, he said that you could solve any problem in the world if you just first put it into algebra. Some problems may be hard to put into algebra, but there you go. So here you go. Pause the video. See if you can write something down. You've got sugar, you've got flour. Give sugar one letter and flour another. So I don't know how far you managed to get, but I'm going to call sugar X and flour Y. I might use S and F, but S often gets confused with 5, so I'm going to go with X and Y. So 2 bags of sugar, that'll be 2X, plus 1 bag of flour, Y, add up to make 12 kilograms. Then it says the weight of 1 bag of sugar, X, and 1 bag of flour have a total of 7 kilograms. So that's just X plus Y being 7. Now, there's 2 ways of looking. You could say, what's the difference between this equation or that equation? Or you could say, I'm going to take the bottom equation away from the top one. And I'm going to do that because I've got the same number of Y. 12 take 7 is 5. 2x take x is x. So I now know that x must equal 5. Then substitute. And you substitute back into the simplest equation. In this case, that's the bottom one. So instead of x, we now know that x is 5. 5 plus y equals 7. Therefore y must equal 2. Now you should always double check by seeing if that also works up here. So 2x would be 2 times 5, and then we've got our 2. Does that equal 12? 2 5s are 10 plus 2 equals 12. Yeah, I'm happy with that. What's the weight? What's the actual question I was asked? I was asked for the weight of a bag of sugar. Sugar is x, so my final answer is 5 kilograms. There's our first question. Next question, we're going to do question 18. And this is very typical of the kind of question they like to ask. So pause the video and have a go and see how far you can get. There's a little bit more to this one than the other one. So we've got tea and coffee. I'm going to go with T and C on that. You could have gone with X and Y. They probably would do in a mark scheme. 5 cups of tea plus 3 cups of coffee are costing £20.50. 3 cups of tea and 1 cup of coffee cost £9.50. Now before we can solve this, we need to have either the same amount of tea or the same amount of coffee. And the simplest one, because 3 and 5 don't go into the same number, so if I wanted tea, I'd have to multiply them up to get 15 cups of tea. I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 3 so that I have 3 cups of coffee. So 3 times 3t is 9t, 3 times c is 3c, 3 times £9.50, 27 plus £1.50, £28.50. Then I'm going to bring my other equation back down here. 5t plus 3c equals £20.50. So you may well just be able to see that you've got 4 more cups of tea there and it's costing another £8. But in terms of showing you working, I want to take the bottom equation, the smaller equation, away from the bigger one. 5t from 9t is 4t, so that's 4 cups of tea. £28.50 takes £20.50 is 4 exactly. So divide both sides by 4, t equals £1. So that's the cost of a cup of tea. Now I go into the simplest of the equations, which I would say is this one. Substitute t equals 1, and that's going to give me 3 times 1 is 3 plus a cup of coffee is £9.50. So coffee is looking a lot more expensive here. Take 3 from both sides and I get a cup of coffee equaling £6.50. So we've got those two. Now that is our answer, but we should always double check by going back up to the other one and seeing if the value works. So 5 times 1 is 5, but I'm just going to write it like this. I'm going to have 3 times £6.50. If that makes £20.50, then I absolutely know without looking at the answers at the bottom of that sheet that I'm right. So 5 times 1 is 5. 3 6s are 18 plus 19.5, and that isn't right, so I've made a mistake somewhere. And I'm sure you saw my mistake when I start looking back through there. Of course, £28.50 take £20.50 is not 4, but it's very easy to make elementary mistakes when you're going through and you're trying to think about the other things. So then if we divide by 4, that should have been £2, and I'm sure lots of you were shouting that at the video as we were going. Then we would be substituting t equals 2 into here, and 3 times 2 is 6, so then we would have to take 6 away, and that would give me £3.50. Then if I go through here again and do 5 times 2 plus 3 times £3.50, hopefully we'll get £20.50 this time. 5 2s are 10, 3 £3.50s are £9 plus £1.50, £10.50, and that does equal that. So now we are right. So our final answer is tea costs £2 and coffee costs £3.50. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you before setting you that one to upload for us. And this final question is two numbers have a sum of 162 and they have a difference of 52. What are these two numbers? A little bit different. Write a couple of equations. Pause the video and have a go. Right, so let's have a little look at this. So it's actually quite simple equations we can do, because our two numbers, I'm going to call them x and y, they have a sum, they add up to make 162. They have a difference of 52. That means if I take one from the other, doesn't matter which one, I may as well do x take y because we don't know which is which. If I take one from the other, I'm going to get 52. Now at this point you've got a choice. You could take the bottom one from it, but that's going to be a little bit more confusing. If you add the bottom one to it, when you add a negative to a positive and they're the same number, they disappear. So we get x plus x is 2x. We get 162 plus 52 being, for 6 add 5 is 11, 214. I then divide both sides by 2 and I get x being 107. And then if I substitute back into this one here, I can say 107 take, actually let's do the one at the top because that's going to be easier, plus y equals 162. So y is going to be 162 take 107, which is 12, 7 from 12 is 5, which is 55. And if I check the answers at the bottom of my sheet here, I do indeed this time find that it is correct, 107 and 55. Right, so as I said, I would like you to have a go at another question now, which is question 17. Question 17, which is there. My age is the difference between twice my age in 4 years' time and twice my age 4 years ago. How old am I? I'll be really interested if someone's come up with a simultaneous equation. That'd be really interesting to see. I've got my solution. I'd really like to see what you've come up with yourselves, and we can talk it through at the beginning of next time. Great. Okay, have a great day, folks, and I will see you, or you'll see me, tomorrow. On second thoughts, I just spotted this question and I thought, yeah, we've got a bit more time actually. Let's have a crack at this one. So this question 23, don't upload this one, I'm going to do this one now. So pause the video and do what you can and see how you get on. So we've got 2 rolls of carpet that are together worth £600. So if we've got our two rolls and we call them X and Y, if you add together their cost, you get 600. The first roll costs £10 per metre, so every metre would be multiplied by 10. The second, which is 12 metres longer than the first, costs £8 per metre. So one thing we can say is that if we call the first one X, Y take X, we know, is going to equal 12. And we also know that for the cost, I can't just put X, can I? It needs to be 10 times every metre plus 8 times every metre. And that's my two equations. So be careful when you're doing it. The two rolls do add up to that, but this is all about how much they cost. And every metre costs 10 for that one and 8 for that one. Right, so now we've got this, I could multiply the whole thing by 10 or 8. Now if I multiply it by 8, I'm taking away and I have to take a negative. You can do that, but I prefer to add a negative and then just sort of, that means you just sort of take it away, doesn't it? So I'm going to multiply all of this equation by 10, which gives me negative 10x, I'm going to write it this way round, plus 10y, and that would be 120. Now if I put the 10x plus 8y equals 600 straight underneath that, and I add the two equations together, the right hand side I get 720. The left hand side I get no x's because they cancel out, and I get 18y. So I just need to divide by 18, which isn't as tricky as it looks, because 18 goes twice into 36, so 4 times into 72, so that will be 40 metres for y. And then if I do go back into this one and say 40 take x equals 12, I could add x to both sides, and that would give me 40 equals 12 plus x. I could take 12 from both sides, and that would give me 28 equals x. So we're saying that I've got 128 metre and 140 metre roll. I should check that, shouldn't I? Does it work for the money as well as the lengths? And if I do 10 times, which one's x? X is, that isn't it, 10 times 28 is 280. And if I do 8 times 40, 8 fours are 32, so that's 320. That does give me 600. That means I must be right, because there's only going to be one value of both that works in both equations, because they would both make straight lines if we put them on a graph. But that is for another time, folks. Okay, if you hung on to this bit, well done.